I used to think astrology was so stupid. I'm not gonna lie. Seriously, like, oh man, like my friend Clara, who I love Clara. Clara, if you're watching, I love you. She used to talk about astrology, and I'd just be like, oh my god, you're just rambling about literally the most meaningless stuff ever. And then one day I had this acid trip. I had an acid trip that revealed to me, like, it revealed to me like the universe and how actually astrology is real. And so first, okay, let's talk about what even is astrology. I'm not like an astrologer. I'm not a mathematician. I'm just like a dude that has taken acid before, just to preface this video. But I want to say, I think astrology, what astrology is observing the patterns of the planetary, the cosmos, observing the patterns of the cosmos and determining what happens when these patterns are arising. What are the cause and effects of these patterns in our personal lives, in our ecosystem, from the microcosm to the actual solar system. You can find, with the right equations, with the right methods, that apparently like these Egyptians and Vedics and I don't know, I guess like maybe Greeks and some other people have discovered these patterns. They discovered I guess not equations, but they've discovered methods to they are equations actually, in a way. They are equations. So, this acid trip showed me something interesting. And it actually still haunts me to this day, in the sense that, like, when I look around, I am haunted by recognizing patterns and geometry. When I'm in nature, when I'm in my room, when I'm in anywhere, I see geometry now. I never really recognized it before in life, but I really notice it. And I really notice that different patterns repeat in nature, and different patterns produce or are found in certain things. Like, for example, like you think of like these fruits that have seeds. They look like vaginas. Like, if you open a fruit, even an orange, you open it, all the seeds are in the middle, and it's got this little vagina-like crescent shape to it. You also find this in like mountains that have like a place where maybe some water has formed. It creates this womb shape. And it's just so interesting that the vagina is also shaped like that. And it's also got all these qualities that you find in nature. I'm sorry to use the vagina as the metaphor. It's the first thing that popped in my head. It probably says something about myself. I'm sure the astrological weirdos out there will be able to determine what planetary house caused me to have that Freudian slip. Okay, but so I'm going to try to break this down. I was able to see the universe like a timeline of a video. When I'm editing my videos, I see a timeline, and I'm able to like examine the time. Okay, I want to skip a little bit forward, I skip a little bit forward, I want to go a little bit back, I want to zoom in, anything, I want to zoom out, it's all there. I was able to observe the universe like this from the first action that the universe took, and I was able to watch the developing patterns become realized and emerged and manifested into this world. And I was able to see it, maybe think of like a stock market chart. If you zoom out, you can see kind of this pattern, the ups and downs, and you can recognize the psychology behind it. I was seeing the universe like this from like an infinite perspective above it. And I was like, okay, wow. If I was able to have this position of perspective always, if I was in this absolute perspective, or if I could come up with a mathematical equation to represent this ultimate perspective, then I would be able to determine everything, what's going to happen. Oh, Jesus, I think goddamn spirit just tried to possess me. You would be able to predict the future because you would be able to recognize the patterns. It's impossible, I think, to fully understand this And I don't know anything about astrology. Maybe astrology really has figured this out, but I feel like it's an impossible task. But I see how it's possible. I see how it's possible mathematically for astrology to be real. And also the cosmic bodies affect our bodies because everything is connected. There are no actual separations in the world. You know, we go through life. This is actually what they call the ego. We've all heard people like, oh, dog, your ego tripping, homie. Relax. That's just your ego. Or that guy's got a big ego. That girl's got a big ego. We've heard people say this. And what this means, the ego is our hyper-identification with some separate thing. We don't go through life saying, wow, these plants give me air to breathe. This is an extension of my own lungs. My own breath is an extension of the nature around me. We don't look at the world like that. We say, oh, man, look at that tree over there. Let's cut it down and build something. Or, you know, we don't say, look at that soil and that tree. Or we do say that. We say, look, there's a dirt right there. Look at that dirt there. Look at that tree. Look at that bird. But we don't recognize that all of these things arise mutually. They all imply each other beyond the separation of language. So, in that conclusion, you can see that the planetary effects of the cosmos would have direct effects on the things that happen here on Earth. You know, we are made out of water mostly, right? You've heard people say that. Well, you know, it's true. Our bodies are made mostly of water. So, you know, the moon controls the water, the tides. We know this. The moon has an effect. And they say, like, the moon makes people crazy. So maybe the moon is affecting the water in our bodies. It's a possibility, and I think that's just a very simple example. And like women being on their moon cycles, having their periods, not only syncing with each other when they're hanging out, but syncing with the moon cycles. So we are inherently connected to nature despite our illusions of separateness that we are constantly navigating through as if it's real. So the conclusion of what I'm trying to say is that if we were able to examine the universe fully and see these patterns, and maybe people really, I need to get into astrology, maybe that's what you guys are doing already, and maybe you guys already realized this, and I'm like way behind in the party. I think that's actually what's happening right now. I like think I had some deep realization, but like everyone's like, dude, yeah, we've been doing this. But so, yeah, you know, so if you really think about it, there are patterns happening in the universe. We can see it through our own lives. You know, we not only do we fall into patterns in our own selves, but nature has patterns in the seasons and so yeah, I just thought that was an interesting thing to kind of give people that maybe don't believe in astrology, or give people that believe in astrology and might not know how to explain it in a kind of easy way. I feel like that's an easy way to explain it. You really kind of understand how it could be possible in that way. If I explained it right, maybe I didn't, but yeah, let me think if I have anything else interesting to say about that. Yeah, I guess that means everything's predetermined, right? Ultimately, that's what, you know, like you hear people say you can always change your future, but maybe not actually. Maybe not. And that's actually, in Hinduism, the Vedas, the Vedic people are regarded as being a really profound astrological system. They also say that karma is an illusion. This idea that we are doing something, that we are in action, that's what karma means. It's that we are in action, that something is happening, is an illusion, because the whole universe is one thing. So like there's no you happening. This is a whole system happening, but we are isolated identity. We are isolated consciousness being self-absorbed into a hallucination of its own self. It's not true. It's not the foundation of the real reality. So everything is ultimately predetermined. All of these patterns that we fall into are echoes of the first action the universe has taken, and we've been lost in this repetition. And I guess that's why they say that's why you take birth. You take birth because you're lost in the attachment of action. So you need a body to fulfill this action. You need an identity to live out these desires. So Yeah, I don't know what that means. If everything's predetermined, what does that mean if life is predetermined? If we aren't actually in control of our destiny, and these words that I'm saying right now, and you watching this video, and everything is actually meant to be, and that it was inspired, and this is the realizing echo of something that happened forever ago. Let me know in the comments, because I'm freaking out. My name is Dakota. Click subscribe, and I will catch you next time.